Very good morning, students. Previous session we discussed the anatomy of dicot and monocot root, dicot and monocot stem. Today we are going to discuss the anatomy of leaf. Leaves are very important vegetative organs because they are mainly concerned with photosynthesis and transpiration. Just see the picture. This is the morphology of a dicot leaf. Reticulate venation is a characteristic feature of all the dicotyledonous plants. Like stem and roots, leaves also have the three tissue systems: dermal or epidermal tissue system, ground tissue system, and vascular tissue system. The dermal tissue system consists of an upper epidermis and lower epidermis. Stomata occur in both the epidermis but more frequently in the lower epidermis. The ground tissue system that lies between the epidermal layers of leaf is known as mesophyll tissue. Often it is differentiated into palisade parenchyma on the adaxial side, that is upper side, and spongy parenchyma on the abaxial side, that is lower side. The mesophyll tissue with two different types of parenchyma, palisade and spongy parenchyma. Especially spongy parenchyma cells enclose a lot of air spaces. The presence of air spaces is a special feature of spongy cells. They facilitate the gaseous exchange between the internal photosynthetic tissues. The vascular tissue system is composed of vascular bundles. They are collateral and closed. The vascular tissue forms the skeleton of the leaf and they are known as veins. The veins supply water and minerals to the photosynthetic tissue. Let me pass on to the internal structure of dicot leaf. So, internal structure of dicotyledonous leaves reveals epidermis, mesophyll, and vascular tissues. Epidermis. A dicotyledonous leaf is generally dorsiventral. So, what do you mean by dorsiventral? A leaf showing the differentiation in mesophyll is designated as dorsiventral. So, what is the differentiation? The leaf is differentiated into palisade parenchyma on the adaxial, that is upper side, and spongy parenchyma on the abaxial lower side. So, this is only known as dorsiventral. So, dorsiventral is common in dicot leaves. In dicot leaves, we can see upper and lower epidermis. The epidermis is usually made up of single layer of cells that are closely packed. The cuticle on the upper epidermis is thicker than that of lower epidermis. The minute openings found on the epidermis are called stomata. Stomata are more in number on the lower epidermis than on the upper epidermis. The stoma is surrounded by a pair of bean-shaped cells called God cells. Each stoma opens into an air chamber. These God cells contain chloroplast, whereas other epidermal cells do not contain chloroplast. The main function of the epidermis is to give protection to the inner tissue called mesophyll. The cuticle helps to check transpiration. Stomata are used for transpiration and gaseous exchange. So, this is about epidermis of dicot leaf, for example, sunflower leaf. Next, mesophyll. So, what is mesophyll? The entire tissue between the upper and lower epidermis is called mesophyll. Meso means in the middle. Phyllo means leaf. There are two regions in the mesophyll. They are palisade parenchyma and spongy parenchyma. Palisade parenchyma cells are seen beneath the upper epidermis. It consists of vertically elongated cylindrical cells in one or more layers. These cells are compactly arranged without intercellular spaces. Palisade parenchyma cells contain more chloroplasts than the spongy parenchyma cells. The function of palisade parenchyma is photosynthesis. Spongy parenchyma lies below the palisade parenchyma. Spongy cells are irregularly shaped. These cells are very loosely arranged with numerous air spaces. As compared to palisade cells, the spongy cells contains less number of chloroplasts. Spongy cells facilitate the exchange of gases with the help of air spaces. The air space that is found next to the stomata is called respiratory cavity or substomatal cavity. So what are all the differences between palisade and spongy parenchyma cells? Palisade parenchyma cells are seen beneath the upper epidermis, but spongy parenchyma lies below the palisade parenchyma. Palisade parenchyma consists of vertically elongated cylindrical cells in one or more layers. Spongy cells are irregularly shaped. Palisade parenchyma cells are compactly arranged without intercellular space. Spongy parenchyma cells are very loosely arranged with numerous air spaces. Palisade parenchyma cells contain more chloroplasts than the spongy parenchyma cells. Spongy parenchyma cells contain less number of chloroplasts. Palisade parenchyma cells, the major function photosynthesis, spongy cells, the major function gaseous exchange. So these are all the differences between palisade and spongy parenchyma. This is about the mesophyll of dicot leaf. Next, vascular tissues. So vascular tissues are present in the veins of leaf. Vascular bundles are conjoined, collateral and close. What do you mean by conjoined? Xylem phloem arranged on the same radius. Collateral, xylem phloem arranged on the same radius, phloem facing outwards. And closed, cambium is absent in between xylem and phloem. So this is called closed bundle. So in dicot leaf, vascular tissues are present in the veins of leaf. Vascular bundles are conjoined, collateral and closed. Xylem is present towards the upper epidermis while the phloem towards the lower epidermis. Vascular bundles are surrounded by a compact layer of parenchymatous cells called bundle sheath or border parenchyma. Xylem consists of metaxylem vessels and protoxylem vessels. Protoxylem vessels are present towards the upper epidermis. Phloem consists of seed tubes, companion cells and phloem parenchyma. Phloem fibers are absent. Xylem consists of vessels and xylem parenchyma. Tracheids and xylem fibers are absent. So this is about the vascular tissues of dicot leaf. So dicot leaf, the major and important characteristic feature, it's a dorsiventral leaf. What do you mean by dorsiventral? A leaf showing differentiation in the mesophyll. So mesophyll differentiated into palisade parenchyma on the adaxial side and spongy parenchyma on the abaxial side. That is only called as dorsiventral leaf. So far we discussed the anatomy of dicot leaf. So anatomy of dicot leaf reveals epidermis, mesophyll and vascular tissues. Epidermis, upper and lower epidermis is present. Then stomata occur both the epidermis but more frequently in lower epidermis. Next, mesophyll is differentiated into palisade and spongy parenchyma since it's a dorsiventral leaf. Ground tissue system that lies between the epidermal layers of leaf. It is only known as mesophyll tissue. Regarding vascular tissues, vascular bundles are conjoined, collateral, closed, and vascular bundles are surrounded by a compact layer of parenchymatous cells called bundle sheath and border parenchyma. Then in xylem, vessels and xylem parenchyma are present. Tracheids and xylem fibers are absent. Phloem consists of seed tubes, companion cells, and phloem parenchyma. Phloem fibers are absent. That's all about the internal structure of dicot leaf. So with this we finish the anatomy of dicot leaf. Thank you.